Hello guys. This is just going to be a quick video, I swear. And horrible quality, obviously. But these are the little baby crayfish in a tank here. And it's filled with algae, and there's tons of duckweed on top, and it's a more of a natural tank here in my shed. And these are all baby crayfish. You can't tell, but they're only about these ones are about an inch. Some are a little bit smaller. There's a smaller one. There's about 30 of them in here. And I put one female crayfish in here. There's a snail. And she reproduced, obviously, and seems to be about each time a female produces a clutch. There's one, look at them. That they produce anywhere from 20 to 40 little clones of themselves with these crayfish. So again, sorry for the crappy video. It's really bad, but I'm figuring this is probably the best way to produce these on a bit of a larger scale. Is separate out the females, let them become gravid, produce their eggs, and then have their babies, possibly in a smaller tank like this, and then take the babies and move them outside to my larger cement tubs. And that's what I did yesterday with one of the videos, and it seems to work fairly well. Put a bit of a soil substrate on the bottom of the cement tubs and let water plants and duckweed populate it, and then put them in. And it seems to be working really well. But to breed them, this is a 10-gallon tank here. That's it, with just some rocks and some hides. And it does have a bubbler in it, but that's not really, and it has a sponge filter. But other than that, the ones I have outside, no filter, no air, anything, and they do great. But just to have a bit more control over how many babies we're going to put in each tub, and just numbers to get an estimate of how well they're going to do, I think doing it this way works really well. And they grow. These guys are growing incredibly fast. They're only about 3 weeks old from when the mother had eggs on her, and then she started releasing them. They hold on to little baby crayfish underneath the tail, and then she releases them. And they're only about 3 weeks, coming out a month old. And they're about an inch, the bigger ones. And gosh, another couple weeks, and these guys will be producing eggs, especially with it warming up outside. When they're warm, they grow very fast. And sorry, you're looking through the glass here, and there's algae and snails and worms all on the glass. There's a snail. But I know this is a horrible video, but mostly just talking about it. But I'm going to leave the female in here, and I've counted, again, about 25 to 30 babies right here, maybe more. And these guys are going to go get moved out into a tub to grow out and see how it works. And the female, she's a beast. She's one of my biggest girls. She's about 5 inches. And every time she's got eggs, she's producing more and more. And contrary to what was, goes around the internet, they don't really seem to bother each other cannibalistically. As long as there's plenty of food, which these guys love vegetation. They eat the vegetation like crazy. You can see the water plant there beside him, and he's sitting there picking up the whatever, or she is. They're all female, remember these guys are. All of the native crayfish that I bought, I started with some red swamp crayfish, the ones you buy commercially out of Louisiana. I started with some wild caught ones from the ponds here in Florida, the natives, and that's actually how I got most of these self-cloning, the marbled crayfish. We actually I think out of the original group, I think there was 10 or 15 marbled crayfish we got out of a ditch here in Central Florida. And we also bought a couple native ones from the pet store, and we bought a couple of another species off the internet. Altogether, I started with like 20 something crayfish, and the only ones that survived were these self-cloning crayfish after, you know, the tadpoles and everything decided to decimate them. But these guys are doing really well now. And look at them there. Again, these guys are small. They're only about an inch. But they're doing very well. So I'm going to end the video here. 6 minutes, guys. Love you. Thank you for watching. And so far, I'd give this an A for, you know, you want to raise some protein and something that's delicious. I think probably within a couple months, I'll make a video. We're going to harvest some, because we've already gotten, just from those few original ones, you know, we're up to over, at least, you know, what I've counted, 100 babies now. And but putting them in a tank like this just gives you a better idea of the numbers that you're going to get. You wouldn't have to do that, obviously. You know, our original cement tub, like as in the other videos I just put up, they were the females were producing just fine, and I just had to, you know, the water was cloudy, and, you know, not cloudy, it was actually crystal clear, but the sediment on the bottom makes it real hard to get a count of how many babies there actually were. Where in this setup here, even though, you know, it's all filled with algae and everything, and the water's still completely clear, actually, it's just you're looking through glass with algae all over it. So you get a better count of how many babies you're moving, and could probably put more in here. I've only got one little skull decoration where I've got my big female hiding, but if you had more places for them to hide, in a 10-gallon tank, you could probably put 5 to 10 females of these crayfish. And if they're all having babies, raise up the babies, feed them, and then when they're about an inch or so, move them outside to your grow-out tubs or your ponds or whatever you're doing. And again, I've had zero issue with them eating each other. I haven't noticed it. If you can see, you know, I'm sitting here at the camera steady, but they each find their own little spot, and they just kind of sit there. They don't bother each other at all. If they do fight, they kind of just walk up to each other and they hold claws, and then they kind of push back and forth, and whoever's smaller generally ends up just swimming away. I have not noticed any cannibalization with these guys whatsoever. And this is a 10-gallon tank with, you know, 20 plus in here. I think, I'm trying to count while I'm talking to you guys. There's at least 25 in here. So, and look they don't bother each other. They've got plenty of food. They crawl up to the top. They eat the duckweed. And I throw some water plants in here and some lettuce and some weeds from out in the garden every day, and they just eat it completely, no problem whatsoever. And I think if you want them to grow even faster, this video is getting a little longer than I was expecting, but anyway, if you want them to grow even faster, a commercial feed, something with higher protein. I've been putting bits of dog food in here. You know, we feed a high protein dog food, and without the corn and all that crap in it, it doesn't really cloud the water at all. And just a few pieces here and there. But if you wanted to find a good fish food or some kind of pellet, I don't know what, I'm sure you can find it, they would probably grow even faster, which these guys, when they're happy in the water, seems to be anywhere above 60 degrees, they're growing, because this has mostly been an experiment through winter. Even here in Florida, we've had a long, cool winter, and my tubs and even this tank, they're not heated, and it's been probably about anywhere from 60 to 80 degrees depending on the day and the sun and everything, and they grow and eat just fine. So there you guys go, just a little bit of information, and this is turning out to be really interesting little experiments I'm enjoying doing, and yeah, maybe get to eat, and definitely gonna get to eat some of these guys this year. I don't know, see how to do that, but very curious. I'm sure they taste probably just like crayfish, but you know, I have a thing. I like to fry things. I like little crabs and things. I know, and just fry them whole, and you know, put a little cornstarch on them and fry them up and eat the whole thing crunchy. Yeah, I know. Gonna grow horns. But yeah, sorry for the wiggling and the horrible video, but you can see them pretty good. Oh, look at them there. Fascinating little creatures, I'll admit. I've been sitting here at this tank, you know, sitting here. My wife's calling me, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm in the shed looking at the crayfish tank." Yeah, I know. She's like, "You've been out there for hours." No, I have not. Just staring at a bunch of crayfish in the tank. I'm sitting here plotting like, man, I can move these out into tubs, and gosh, I mean, yeah, anyway. There you go. I always have to make a short video, and it's never short, and yeah. But there you go. Really cool little things. And as you see, there's a good shot of a whole bunch of them. They don't really fight. They don't bother each other. They're all fat and happy. You can see them sitting there picking through stuff, eating. There's green plants from when I fed them this morning in the bottom there that they've eaten completely. And yes, pretty cool. So grow food, guys, and you know, we need protein. You know, keeps you strong and healthy and happy, and this, I think, is a very viable way to grow some easy protein. So far, it's looking pretty good. Heck, even if you didn't want to stick them outside in tubs, if you get a big enough tank, again, this is only a 10-gallon. If you were to get a big enough tank, say a 50-gallon, you know, wide, you don't need tall. They don't need tall at all. And if you wanted to do it in your house or your basement, your shed, you know, something short and more space in the bottom and places for them to hide, and start off with some original females, and then you could probably just harvest the bigger ones as you want. I don't know, but even though they're not fighting and they're all just sitting here in the rocks, I would still give them more places to hide, even though they're getting along quite nicely. You know, this isn't for aesthetic reasons. This is for actual, you know, me finding things out, getting some hard knowledge and data about raising these, because I've never raised crayfish, and it's not made to look pretty, though I guess you could, if you have it in your house or your basement or somewhere, you could make it look pretty, you know, keep your glass clean and all the plants and the water spotless, but that is not my focus here. You know, interesting. Yeah, seriously, gonna end it there, guys. But really look into raising some crayfish. I'm not sure if the different species, which there's dozens to choose from, you can get them off the internet. You can find them wild locally, get them from your pet stores, wherever you are. I'm sure some do better in colder waters. Obviously they do. You know, they're native all over the U.S. And I know even these marbled crayfish are originally from Florida. And I don't know how easy they are to find in the wild. I know that I literally set some minnow traps and caught some literally 20 minutes from my house. And I've talked to people that they apparently can catch these guys all over Florida. And even going into Texas and everything, you can find these marbled crayfish all over the place. They're pretty much wild everywhere. I don't know how you can call them invasive when, as far as I can tell, they're most likely native to most of the southern United States. I don't know. But, yeah, they're definitely easy to find here in Florida. And I think they're, even the ones you find in pet stores, I don't know the proper scientific name for them. I'm guessing these guys were originally just a mutation of them. And who knows? Curious. Yes. I love this stuff. Sorry, I didn't sit here and talk forever to you guys about it, but I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, like and subscribe.